You're going to start with your staff in one hand, doesn't matter which one. You're going to use both hands evenly. It's just a warm-up move. You're turning from side to side. You're going to start to build speed and strength in your spins by improving the strength in your forearm right here, in your wrists, and in your hand and your grip. Just go side to side, nice and easy. You're going to do this for 30 seconds and then put it into the other hand, and you change hands when you go to the other hand for one-handed spinning. Palms up and over. Starting slow and easy, depending on the weight of your staff. If you have a heavy staff, you're going to go a little bit slower. If you have a light staff, you can go faster. Once your fluffies here, Nicholas, good to see you. Good to see everybody. Now, after you've done this for 30 seconds in your other hand, you're going to start to go from one hand into the other hand. You're going to do a lot of transitions from one hand to the other one. You do staff spins one-handed. And all you're doing is you bring your pinkies together and you're letting your wrist turn out as far as it'll go. That'll improve the flexibility in your wrist. It's also going to give you better handling of your staff when you do one-handed staff spins. Just going from one side to the other one. Hello, Catherine. It's good to see you. Now, once you've done that in both hands, we're going to go back to your first hand. You're going to put it directly to your side. You're going to do that spin again. And the reason you're going to do this in one hand to the side of your body is so that you can activate the muscles in your shoulder and get stronger in a different plane of motion. When you do one-handed staff spins, you want to be able to do them evenly and well in all ranges of motion. After 30 seconds here, snap it back over into that other hand and start to spin it. And you're literally just turning down. And you want to allow the staff to pull your wrist. And again, if you have a really heavy staff, go very slowly at first so you don't pull any muscle. And you'll get fast, or you'll get strong very fast. After you've done that, you're going to take it back to that first hand. You're going to go directly above your head, making sure there's nothing up there you're going to hit. And you're just going to turn from side to side. Once you've done one hand, I got it. When you do one hand, then you're going to go to the other one. Now, if you don't want to hit your head, don't bend your elbow. When you do the staff over your head, I'm going to move back so I don't hit that again. Always extend your arm as far as it'll go. And that's going to keep you from smacking yourself in the head. You have to remember, you have control of the staff. And if you're hitting yourself with your staff, it's your fault. You're doing something wrong, or you need to slow down until you get stronger and then speed back up. Once you've done both hands, you're going to go back to that spin away. The same thing you did here in front of your body. You came out to one side and out to the other side. But you're going to do the up over your head. Yeah, I want to back up, limited in the garage here. This is how you train at home with your bow staff or your Joe. Staff spins at home, in the garage, dojo, or in the backyard, on the patio, at the park. And I really feel it. When you go over the head, you're really going to activate the backs of your shoulders, which is what you want. You want a strong shoulder from the front, the side, and the back for when you start to do more spins. Now, using your staff, leading with your thumb, you're going to go into a figure 8 spin. And I'm going to switch over. I've been using the Joe, which is 54 inches. I'm going to do both staffs today. We're going to use the bow, which is a good 6-foot staff. It's a lot heavier. You don't have to use 2 staffs. I just wanted to show you that they both do about the same thing at the beginning. Now, all you're doing is you're carving a simple figure 8 motion or the infinity sign with your thumb. You're pushing down and pull it back. Jim says, will this work with a cane? You can work this with your cane. It won't be as effective because the cane's a little bit lighter. This is okay for weak wrists. Mr. Fee and Callie says, yeah, just if your wrists aren't that strong, start with a very light staff. And start with, you can even use I like to use a painter's pole sometimes when you don't have a staff, or you can use an old broomstick, an old mop, just cut the head off or take the head off. Some of them unscrew. You don't have to have a fancy staff. If you need one, I put some links in the description below. But you're just going to do this one-handed spin using one hand first. Whichever hand you put it in first. This is your right hand. When you put your right hand, put your right foot forward, and then you're going to bring it to the front and the side of your body, spinning in this forward figure eight motion. Once you've done that for about 30 seconds, bring it out to the side again and go to the front and the back of your body. And again, you're activating different parts of your shoulder. As you do this, keep your stomach up and in, abs tight, tuck your chin. You say slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time, gradually increasing your speed. You'll get faster over time as you get stronger. And you lose the fear of whacking yourself. You're still going to hit yourself, but not as much the longer you do it. Put it in your other hand, put that foot forward. One-handed bow staff spins or Joe staff spins, one-handed staff spinning. Super simple. If you think about, again, leading forward into that motion with your thumb, think about diving your thumb down, diving your thumb back. The staff is in your hand. Get the other hand up. After 30 seconds, to the front and the back of your body, you're just standing sideways. And standing sideways, you're just here. You go side to side. Front and back, stomach up and in, abs tight. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Take your time. Allow yourself not to be good at it at first. If you're a beginner, you'll get good really fast when you don't give up, you don't quit. Allow yourself to do hard things and grow. After you've done that for 30 seconds, put it back into your first hand. And now you're going to carve that figure eight backwards. You're going to do a reverse figure eight spin. Think about pulling with this finger, pulling it up and over from side to side. It's in your right hand again. Put your right foot forward. Get your other hand up. And just take your time. Super simple, super basic. But this will lead to a lot of skill, a lot of speed, strength. Give you a powerful grip. Then, same as before, turn it to the side, go to the front and the back of your body. If you look at it, it's exactly the same spin when you're standing forward or if you're pulling it to the side and the back of your body. Once you've done that with one hand, put in the other hand for one-handed spins, pulling in reverse. Nice and easy. Making that reverse figure eight. Leading with your pinky. Pull your stomach up, abs tight. Drop your chin, breathe through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you drop it, which you're going to eventually, I'm going to drop it, I know. I don't know when, I just ran into something. I don't know when I'm going to drop it. Here we go again. But I know I will eventually. And you can't be afraid to drop it. You'll never learn. The key to learning is dropping it, making mistakes, and then get up and keep going. Pick it up and go again. And then little by little, you make fewer and fewer mistakes. I'm going to bring it, I'm going to grab the other staff just so I can show you a little bit closer. Because it's a little bit shoulder. I'm pulling here. And again, you're pulling with that finger, just pulling it this way. G. Carlton, it's good to see you. Yeah, G. Carlton said, did you see the burglar fighting off the home intruder with a frying pan? I did not, but that is a great self-defense tool. Anything and everything to defend yourself is my motto. Whatever works. Pull it over, pull it back. If I stand to the side and face you here, you can see you're just pulling. And when you're ready to go faster, just make small motions with your shoulders and your hips, and that will assist the hand in starting to turn a little bit faster as you whip it around your body. Now that you've done that, you're going to go into a wrist roll, going over the back of your wrist. Now you have a thumb side and a pinky side. Simply turn your pinky up. If you need one of these, Francisco says, where can I get one of these sticks? I put it in the description below. But you can also make your own. Start with a broomstick, start with a rake or a tool handle. Start with a curtain rod. Get some PVC pipe. Don't wait to start. If you find something you want to do or you want to try, I always say invest your time before you invest your money. That means, I'll tell you, these are custom-made staffs, custom-made for me. They're both in hickory, and they're extremely heavy. And these are both fighting self-defense staffs. That means these will break bones and crack skulls for self-defense. This is the Joe, and this is the bow. This one is 54 inches. This one is 72 inches. And they each cost over $100. But I've been doing it for such a long time. For me, it's an investment. And I know when I buy a cheap one, it's going to break. Those are never going to break. I'm going to die, and somebody else will get them. If my kids want them or somebody else wants them, they'll still be around. They're going to outlive me. This is a painter's pole. And one of the skills that I learned since I was a little kid, started at 4 years old, painting apartments with my father. He had a business, painted big apartment complexes. I would go to work. They would stick me in closets where you couldn't see if you messed it up that much. And I would do all the prep work, the taping, and I learned how to do that. And I worked my way up using the brushes, and then I worked my way up eventually with the roller head. And somewhere here we go. Here's a roller. Just put that on there. This one can go out and get the tall ceilings here. And then it's a painter's pole, right? Or you can put a brush at the end, like a deck brush or something. But when you take it off, especially when you take a break, you're bored or you're waiting for more paint, now you have your staff. You can do all the same things with your painter's pole that you can with your bow staff or your Joe, and you didn't spend any money. In my case, I make money with this. You use what you have is my point. So if you find something you like, invest your time before you invest your money. Later, you can go and spend money on a nice quality cane like this or staff like this. These come from Cane Masters. They make canes and staffs, walking sticks. But start with a pole. All right, so we're doing your wrist roll. It's like if you want to get in shape, so you're thinking about joining the gym, but you're not working out every day. Start with push-ups, air squats, and go for a walk. If you can do that every day for a week, then go join the gym. But if you're like most people, you join the gym, you never use it because you didn't have a habit of fitness. You didn't have a habit of taking care of yourself. Learn how to take care of yourself at first for free in the little space you live in, and then go. So when you bring it up, you can help open your hand a little bit like this and bring it over. Garrett's talking about Darth Maul and the double-bladed lightsaber. The actor that played Darth Maul, Ray Park, is a martial artist and a great. And Garrett's right. All the things that Darth Maul's doing with it, and there's a two-handed spin that you'll see Darth Maul doing with his double-bladed lightsaber. It all comes from basic staff spins using a pole or using a stick. But I want you to get this wrist roll so that you can then, hello Doug, it's good to see you. You can go into your spins going from one side to the other side of your body. Hello, Robin's here. American Rebels here. Catherine, it's good to see. Catherine says you can practice using pool noodles. Yeah, you can put pool noodles on the ends, especially if you're inside and you don't want to mess up your ceiling. Pool noodles, I think I've never done it, but I could see that would be a good choice. But I want you to learn that wrist roll so that when you go back to your one-handed staff spins, You can now reverse and go over your wrists and you're spinning. And you can also do that. We were spinning in front and back of the body. So you can spin to the front of the body, go over your thumb, spin to the back of your body, go over your pinky side. Getting a little sweaty now. It's starting to slide a little bit more. You just adjust your grip. Putting your other hand on your wrist roll. And there's the pinky side. Whip it back over, open the hand. I told you I was going to drop it. When you drop it, you pick it up. I'm trying to read the comments. I get distracted. Yeah, Catherine says your staff, if you're using your bow the way they will measure that, usually it should be as tall as you are. If you look here, this one looks like it's taller than I am because of the angle of the camera. But if I were to move back and give you perspective, you can see, if I keep moving back, it'll look shorter than me. But you can see that it's as tall as I am. When I say that, I'm 6'1", and that's a 72-inch staff, so that's a 6-foot staff. But the Joe, the way the Joe is measured, usually will come up to your armpit. 54 inches is the standard measure, but it doesn't matter what the length is. You can make your own. You can find the own length that you like. I'm going back to the Joe here, and then we'll go into that spin, coming over the back of your hand. Do that for 30 seconds, and then go to the front and the back of the body again, going over and back. And now I want to show you spins that you only will do one-handed spin, a one-handed staff spin that you're only going to do with your Joe. You're not going to do this with the long bow. This is with the shorter one. And this is a self-defense move. If someone were coming up to you quickly, you can smack them up under the chin and then crack them across the head for self-defense. So if you take this staff and you're holding it so that your elbow is at a 90-degree turn or bend, you're going to have some distance here, some staff that comes out of your thumb. That's so you can jab that into his face if you have to, or using the long side of the staff, hit him across the face, or bring it back and hit him on the other side. Or maybe he's reaching out with a weapon and you crack that hand, you knock the knife out of his hand or whatever you have to do. But this technique is done. This one-handed spin with the Joe it's the same as it's this. It's exactly the same. But when I show you in person, it takes a little bit longer at the beginning because of the weight distribution. It feels different. But it's this exact same thing. I always say it's like punching and then cranking your thumb down and then pulling back with like a backhanded slap across his face on the other side. So you're coming here and back. And this will also allow you to spin it into this position so that you're holding it almost in a sword grip. And then you can continue, I had to look and see where that thing is on the ceiling, continue to do one-handed staff spinning with your Joe, and then you can crank it back and get it into the other grip. So this is unique to the Joe. You're not going to do this with your bow. You're only going to do this with your Joe. You can also do that with a Hanbo, which is the 36-inch staff, but it doesn't work as well just because of the weight. So I wanted to show you how to do that transition from here. Again, this is just a regular figure eight. When you come to the same side of your body, so this is your right hand, when you come to your right side, from this position, your finger and your thumb are going to stay there, and your other fingers, 3 fingers, are going to slide behind. And it's going to pivot between your first and second finger. Your thumb is going to allow it, or going to assist it by grabbing. Then you're going to pull your first finger back here, and now you're in this grip. And to get back, now you're spinning. When you're on the same side of your body, you're going to reverse it. You're holding with the thumb and the fingers, the first finger. The last 3 fingers come here. Using your thumb and your wrist to turn it over, you're going to get it so it's straight up and down. Move as I let it drop, As it drops, you're going to pull your thumb out, grabbing it with your thumb and your first finger. Pull your first finger back into this position. Now you're in this grip. So from here, you're in this grip, you're spinning. You want to change to this grip so that then you can strike with like a sword coming this way. And now you're striking here. And then you're going to change that grip back to here. Now, if you are a Star Wars fan and you spin the lightsaber, I don't have the lightsabers here. I left most of them in Ohio, but we used to do a lightsaber class because it's the same thing as spinning swords and staff. Then you would want to learn this trick. It's not really a trick. You want to learn this hand transition. So you're doing your spins. And again, this spin is a self-defense move. From here, you can hit them very quickly. You can bring it back and hit the other way. So you're spinning in your figure eight. And then as it comes to the same side of your body, turn it straight up. Last three fingers come behind. Continue with the turn. When it gets perpendicular to the ground again, get your thumb out of the way. Turn your hand over. Pull your first finger back and behind. And then you have what would be called a positive grip. So a negative grip to a positive grip. And then once you're spinning here to get back to that same thing, the length hits the ground or goes toward the ground. You pull the three fingers out of the way, turn it over. Do it without dropping it. The staff is very heavy. Pull this first thing, the thumb back. Let it continue to roll. Pull your first finger back into its position. And now you're here. And this, again, these are spins that you do with one hand on your Joe that you're not going to do these spins with your long staff. This is just your medium-sized staff. And then you bring it back in, you bring it back out. And each one of these grips has its own advantage. Now, the nice thing about this Cane Masters Joe is you can ask Cane Masters to put these in there. That gives you just a better grip. When I'm sweaty like I am now, this helps me hold on to it. And it's not coming out of my hand very easily. It's just a great addition to these staffs if you want to add those. A lot of people don't like those because on the Joe, you do a lot of sliding where you might strike and your hands slide past each other. And again, you don't do these techniques with the long staff. You only do them with this medium-sized staff. And so people don't like those as much because, but you can get used to them. They don't like them because it grabs your hand, but you can get used to it. And then you'll still be able to fight in the way that you want to using that, the Joe. All right, so back to the bow staff. We have, you're doing your figure eight, and then you have your wrist roll. Oh, there it is again. Your wrist roll. Got to find maybe we've got to go outside and do these longer staff videos. But now I want you to do spins through your fingers. When you start to go through your fingers, you're going to strengthen, open and closing. You're extending your tendons and the ligaments, the muscles in that forearm, and you're not going to get the tendonitis in your elbow. If you don't do these and you just do staff spinning, I would guarantee that most people are going to end up with tendonitis like I always did. And then I've never had it since I started to add these finger rolls. And all you're doing with the finger, just like it when you were a kid, maybe you're still a kid and you got a pencil or a pen and you flip it through your fingers. It's the same exact thing. The difference is the staff is very heavy. And so you have to find, and you can use the other hand to help you. You got to find that center point where it's more balanced than it is strength. It's like doing handstands. Handstands are about balance, they're not about strength. A lot of these techniques are, you let that go through. Once you go through that, then you're going to go back into your figure eight. You're going to do a 3-finger spin. When it gets to the pinky and the ring finger, you let it balance in the back of the first 3 fingers and then pop into your hand like you would a wrist roll. So you're bringing it around. 1, 2, there it is. Last 2 fingers comes over the top. Grab it with your thumb, and then you're back into your positive grip. It's hot here in the garage again today. 1, 2, 3. Grab it there. And you use that with one-handed staff spinning to kind of break up the rhythm. This is a 1, 2, 1. And I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And that doesn't make sense yet until you start doing flow or freestyle. When you start freestyle, or maybe you want to make up a form, you want to do a competition, you're trying to show off, having all these extra spins. There it is again. I'm going to break that thing. Better switch back. We go 1, 2, 3, and then I go over. So now you can add kind of a pause point, bringing it over. The watch got me that time. Bring it over, bring it back, bring it over, bring it back, switching hands, and then just starting to move around through space and time. Now, all of this spinning, whether it's one-handed or two-handed, is not for self-defense by itself. Now, there is that move that we talked about, and you could be striking here and changing grips, and even changing grips with a spin. But most of the spinning, 99% of your spins are going to be cross-training. It's going to be building speed, strength, power in your grip. It's going to give you better cardiovascular fitness. It's like skipping a rope as a boxer. You don't take the rope into the ring and fight the guy with the skipping rope. You put on the gloves and you go and you fight. So spinning is like jumping rope or skipping rope. It is cross-training. It's good for spatial awareness, timing and distance, but it's not a self-defense move. So you're going to run into, if you're serious at all about practicing with your staff, you're going to run into some purists who say, you can't call that a bow staff. Bow means staff. You're saying staff. That's redundant. You must not know what you're talking about. Whatever. Ignore them. They're correct, but who cares? The other thing that's going to say is, you don't ever spin with your staff. That's sacrilege. As if staff spinning could be sacrilegious anywhere. What they mean is, they had some teacher who heard from another teacher, who heard from another teacher, who heard from an Okinawan instructor at some point, or maybe somebody who trained with an Okinawan instructor at some point, or they probably read it in a comment section or on Reddit. They read it in someone's forum that spinning is a no-no. You never spin, because if they take the staff from you, you're in trouble, which is true. And I'll say, yes, you're absolutely right. Don't spin in self-defense. In self-defense, the great thing about the staff is it's 6 feet or 5 feet, and it's a long, I can keep you back with that. It's almost like fighting with a spear. You can thrust, you can strike, you have so much power. There's so many great techniques, and you're not going to spin. You're going to smash, and you're going to strike. And so in that way, they're right. But they're missing the point. Spinning is not for self-defense. And yes, you can spin if you want to spin. It's up to you're a free human being, I hope. So spin. If you want to spin the staff, spin the staff. And if somebody says you're not allowed to staff spin and bow staff, it's not traditional. Okay, maybe in some schools it's not, but I find it very therapeutic. It's like a moving meditation for me. And I find that when I spend a lot of time spinning, my shoulders, my forearms, my whole upper body gets very strong. My legs get strong because I'm often moving with it. And then when I start to freestyle, I start going faster and faster, and it helps me with the hand transitions. And then we used to do something called combat bow, where we would fight with some pads on and padded staffs. I hit everybody a lot faster. When I was in the Marine Corps, I had done staff since I was a little kid. We got to the pugil sticks, which just represent fighting with rifles, and they look like giant Q-tips, not like the big cartoon ones you see at the fairs or in the TV shows, but it's better than getting hit with a stick, but not much better. You're going to feel it. And I was extremely effective at that. I couldn't be beat because I had spent so much time spinning, and my timing was better, and my speed was better, and my understanding of spatial awareness and space and time and timing and distance is better from all this spinning. So when someone makes a comment to you and you get into spinning and they're trying to tear you down and say, don't spin, that's garbage, spinning is not traditional, say, okay, go do your thing, leave me alone while I spin because I enjoy it. And then if that's your thing, if you like to do it, then do it. Don't listen to anybody else. It's that saying, I think it's maybe a Confucian saying, something the person who says it can't be done should not interrupt the person who's actually doing it. So if you're there doing something and someone else says, you can't do that, they're missing the point. Just ignore them, let them walk away, and keep spinning. Who cares what they think? Anyway, you guys have been awesome. Great to see everybody, and I'll see you some more this weekend.